Carter, I was asking you about a potential time horizon because you are overall regarding the market optimistic. But if you look, say, 12 months out, does your optimism last that full 12 months?
Yeah, and in going back to my previous comments, I think it's an if, not when, for more stimulus, more QE from the Fed. So, we remain cautiously optimistic on the overall market. So, I think December is going to be one of the most important months for investors. I mean, you take a step back, look at where the market is given this year. It's a month to reposition yourself, take some tax losses for positions that may not work in this new environment 12 months out, offset that with gains, and then reposition yourself for ideas and industries that are going to work 12 months and for the next 5 years.
Well, one that might work is Disney. I mean, 87 million subscribers promising 230 million minimum by 2024. Is that realistic?
Yeah, I think you have to respect what they've been able to do in streaming, reaching 86 million subscribers for Disney Plus. Like you mentioned, expecting 240 million subscribers by 2024. I think after last night, you can't consider them just a player, but I think they are considered the leader in streaming. And one thing that Disney has that's in their favor, that favors them over other content creators, is that their ability to monetize that content, licensing, toys deals, attractions at parks, etc.
What about a company called RPM International? They make specialty chemicals. What is it that you highlight about them?
Yeah, it's been the do-it-yourself demand in the U.S., and this remains in a strong place overall. A lot of people were forced at home due to lockdowns. So this is supporting sales for RPM, and really their end markets rely on the repair, maintenance end markets, which is something that usually can be deferred but not canceled. So we've seen record low interest rates and a housing boom. This has also helped a company like RPM thrive in this market environment.
Do you ever, I don't know if you're comfortable and you don't certainly have to, but like sector advice as we go into the new year, there's a lot of belief that there's going to be global growth. So which sectors do you think are those that'll benefit the most?
Well, typically Fort Pitt has been more of a value-oriented shop, and we've seen some of this rotation over the last 3 months. So, in our view, we're going to favor those type of industries, industrials, financials too. If we get stimulus, you can see interest rates peak up and start to benefit more financials. Back to my previous comments about kind of positioning your portfolio, a lot of those work from home stocks, the cloud plays. They pulled a lot of demand forward and rushed out new products and updates. So, I would look for certain themes going forward: contactless pay, streaming, home builders to do well even after COVID is eradicated.
What about, for instance, Zoom, which happens to be our company of the year? They're off today by about 1.6%, no big deal. But after the pandemic, I imagine we'll all use video conferencing, but is Zoom going to be the way Xerox used to be, the same thing as you, instead of saying make a copy, go make a Xerox? Are we going to say, even if you're using, say, the company that Verizon owns, Blue Jeans, you're going to say go do a Zoom?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of work from home stocks that will still be viable business models after COVID and the vaccine has been pushed out. So I think Zoom is one of those. I think you'll see a lot of companies defer to doing Zoom, whether it's Teams, whether it's Blue Jeans. I think you'll see a lot of companies decide to save money and do a conference call like that instead of buying a flight ticket last minute for $1,000 in business class and sending their executives around the world. A lot of companies coming out of this will look to cut costs wherever they can. And I think that's one of the areas that they'll look to.
Another one, stock that you're actually keeping an eye on is Rockwell Automation. Tell us more about this and what it is that caught your attention.
Yeah, so it's really an overlooked cyclical play that kind of separates itself from the haves and the have-nots in values, and that's because of what they've been able to do in technology. So, long-term sales potential for industrial automation is intact. Industrial activity is rebounding, and it's going to continue to rebound as the vaccine rolls out. And they've extended some of their focus into more emerging and growth segments, such as electric vehicles, to diversify their revenue.
Last question for you as we start to wrap up. You're watching, as we all are, the December holiday spending. Hard to put a real figure just yet because people are buying from home and Amazon is benefiting, even Walmart's benefiting. But what do you think we're going to find out, say, January, February, after we're out of the holiday season about consumer spending?
Yeah, I think it's something to watch closely. Obviously, we've seen this divergence right between the Wall Street and Main Street, and I think this is going to highlight the impact of the real economy. I would watch the channels that are being used by consumers, e-commerce, buy online, pick up in store. If it's in store, we own a company, Target, and they've done a great job of their buy online, pick up in store. So, if we see consumers feeling, more comfortable buying large ticket items online, I think that's going to upend the industry overall.
And this will be the last question. If I need to reposition before January 1 for tax law, to take advantage of tax losses, when people start doing that, does it really drive the market that much, or is it more of just a blip on the overall radar screen?
It's more of just a portfolio prune-up. I don't think it really moves the market that much. But it's definitely a good thing to do if you have individual clients out there that could use the individual losses in their portfolios overall.
All right. Carter Henderson, we appreciate your joining us. Carter is the Fort Pitt Capital Portfolio Specialist and Director of Institutional Development. All the best to you, Carter.